what if George Clooney had stolen Ryan Gosling's role in The Notebook? Or if Emilia Clarke had been Anastasia in 50 Shades? Hollywood is full of wild, almost castings that could have completely changed movie history. Today we're diving into the shocking roles your favorite stars almost played. And trust me, some of these will blow your mind. Imagine if The Notebook had George Clooney as Noah Calhoun instead of Ryan Gosling. That almost happened. Clooney once revealed that he and legendary actor Paul Newman were set to play the younger and older versions of Noah. They were excited to work together, but after Clooney binge-watched Newman's movies, he realized something. Newman was one of the most handsome men ever, and Clooney felt he couldn't possibly play a young version of him. In the end, they passed on the film, and the role went to Gosling and James Garner, making movie history. Imagine Sebastian Stan as Captain Kirk, standing at the helm of the USS Enterprise. It almost happened. Before he became Marvel's Winter Soldier, Stan came incredibly close to landing the role in J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek reboot. He even screen tested with Abrams at Paramount Studios and did a full photo shoot mimicking William Shatner's iconic poses to prove he looked the part. But in the end, the role went to Chris Pine. Looking back, Stan says he's glad it didn't happen. He might not have been ready for that level of attention so early in his career. What if Fast and Furious looked completely different? It almost did. Back in the early 2000s, producers offered the role of Dom Toretto to Timothy Olyphant, but he turned it down. Imagine swapping Vin Diesel's gravelly intensity for Olyphant's cool, sly charm. When asked if he regrets the decision, Olyphant dodged the question like a pro, saying he loves the franchise and is happy it worked out for everyone. While Diesel got a billion-dollar ride, Olyphant gave us Justified and Deadwood. No regrets, just roads not taken. Claire Danes could have been Rose in Titanic. Yeah, the role that skyrocketed Kate Winslet to global stardom, that almost went to Claire. After starring opposite Leo in Romeo plus Juliet, she was offered the chance to team up with him again for James Cameron's epic. But when Leo told her he was doing it, Claire looked him in the eyes and said, "I can't." She wasn't ready for the fame storm that Titanic would bring. Instead, she stepped back and chose to grow at her own pace. No regrets, just guts, and a crazy what-if Hollywood moment. She said no to Titanic and doesn't regret it. While most stars would lose sleep over turning down one of the highest-grossing movies of all time, Gwyneth Paltrow shrugged it off like it was no big deal. She passed on Titanic and chose Great Expectations instead. At the time, she joked that one had a great story and the other had a ship. But what's wild is how calm she is about it all. No bitterness, no what-ifs, just a confident move from someone who clearly plays by her own rules, even if that means skipping a $2 billion blockbuster. Reeba McIntyre was this close to boarding the Titanic, literally. Long before Kathy Bates made Molly Brown iconic, Reeba McIntyre had already snagged the role. She auditioned, got it, and was ready to go. But just as filming ramped up, Titanic's schedule got delayed, and McIntyre had a sold-out tour she couldn't cancel. With a team depending on her and arenas booked months in advance, she made the heartbreaking call to walk away from the biggest movie of the decade. Imagine the alternate universe where McIntyre, not Kathy, was the unsinkable Molly Brown. She turned down 50 Shades, and it had nothing to do with the script. Emilia Clarke was the top choice to play Anastasia Steele in 50 Shades of Grey, but she walked away from the offer. Not because she didn't like the role. The director's vision was something she actually admired. But after Game of Thrones, Clarke felt boxed in by constant questions about nudity. She didn't want to spend her career stuck in the same conversation. So, rather than accept another role centered on sensuality, she said no. In doing so, Daenerys Targaryen avoided Christian Grey, and Clarke protected her future. Chris Hemsworth nearly became a G.I. Joe, but losing that role changed everything. Before the Marvel fame and Asgardian hammer, Hemsworth was a broke, high school dropout trying to help his family. He auditioned hard for G.I. Joe, desperate for a win, and lost the role to Channing Tatum. At the time, it crushed him. He was nearly out of money and feeling the pressure to support his parents. But missing that part opened the door to something bigger, Thor. If Hemsworth had suited up for G.I. Joe, he might never have picked up Mjolnir, and the MCU would have looked very different. Justin Timberlake almost played Elton John on the big screen. Before Taron Egerton blew audiences away in Rocket Man, Elton John actually imagined Timberlake in the role. The idea came from Timberlake's performance in the 2001 music video for This Train Don't Stop There Anymore, where he transformed into a young Elton with a prosthetic nose and all. The acting was so convincing that it left a lasting impression on Elton himself. While the timing never lined up for Timberlake to officially take the part, it's wild to picture how Rocket Man might have looked if the pop star had taken the stage instead. Joe Alwin almost stole hearts way before Hollywood knew his name. Long before starring in Mary Queen of Scots and dating Taylor Swift, Alwin auditioned for one of the most beloved holiday movies ever, Love Actually. As a teenager, he got spotted at a local community center while taking fencing lessons. That chance encounter led to a series of workshops and even a table read with Hugh Grant and Richard Curtis. The role of Sam, Liam Neeson's son, eventually went to Thomas Brody Sangster, but imagine if Alwin had been the little boy running through the airport in that iconic ending. Alden Ehrenreich could have been the lonely boy of Gossip Girl. Before Penn Badgley made Dan Humphrey one of TV's most iconic outsiders, Ehrenreich auditioned for the role, and casting director David Rappaport actually wanted him for it. But there was one unexpected deal-breaker, Blake Lively. Producers thought Ehrenreich was simply too short to play opposite her, so the part slipped away. Losing out on Gossip Girl may have stung at the time, but it left the door open for Ehrenreich to eventually pilot the Millennium Falcon as Han Solo. Rumor Willis almost became the Upper East Side's it girl. Before Blake Lively turned Serena van der Woodsen into a cultural icon in Gossip Girl, Willis was in serious talks for the role. The network even toyed with pairing her alongside Ashley Olsen as Blair Waldorf, but Willis herself admitted she didn't nail the audition, calling it one of her first and most nerve-wracking tries. In the end, Blake and Leighton Meester were chosen, and the rest is teen drama history. Still, it's wild to imagine Willis as Serena, running the steps of the Met with her frenemy by her side. Hugh Jackman wasn't supposed to be Wolverine, Dougray Scott was. Back in 1999, Scott had already been cast, fitted for the claws, and scheduled to film X-Men, but fate stepped in. While playing the villain in Mission Impossible 2, production delays and even a shoulder injury kept him stuck on set. Fox couldn't wait any longer, so Bryan Singer rushed to recast, and Jackman landed the role just days before filming. That twist of fate didn't just change a movie, it reshaped Hollywood. Wolverine turned Jackman into a superstar, while Scott later admitted it was simply bad timing, not bad luck. Kate Winslet could have been Viola in Shakespeare in Love, but she said no. Fresh off Titanic, Winslet was Hollywood's hottest star and had her pick of scripts. The role of Viola was on the table, the same part that later earned Gwyneth Paltrow an Oscar. Winslet even admitted she understood the script completely, but something in her gut said it wasn't right. Instead of chasing another blockbuster, she chose a smaller, raw project, Hideous Kinky. For her, it was about staying true to herself and avoiding the spotlight that had brought criticism after Titanic. It's one of Hollywood's biggest what-ifs, but also proof of Winslet's fearless choices. So, which of these almost casting choices surprised you the most? Can you imagine Titanic with Claire Danes or Wolverine without Hugh Jackman? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'd love to hear your dream alternate castings. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more behind-the-scenes Hollywood secrets, and ring the bell so you never miss the next one. Until then, keep imagining the movies that could have been.